So ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? Welcome to Roma Theory. Now, this is a news coming from the Turkish media. This is something coming from Turkish newspapers. Turkish media has launched a rumor. Something which hasn't been confirmed by big sources. And I'm talking about Fabrizio Romano, Di Marzio. These kind of journalists haven't confirmed absolutely anything. And that's the first thing to take in consideration when it comes to listening to this rumor. But the Turkish media has launched a rumor saying that Mourinho wants to bring Mauro Icardi, currently playing at Galatasaray in Rome, to play for Roma. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I'm mixed. I'm mixed when it comes to this. Now, first of all, again, there is really nothing confirmed. It's just something which has been launched by the Turkish media. Why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because just like we've seen with big names like Dybala this summer, there was a leading up of events. There wasn't just one single person, and there wasn't, in this case, one single live stream which talked about Dybala and Dybala joining Roma. It was a series of events, and if you're an OG subscriber, you remember this. There were several live streams which I did about Dybala, which led up to the Dybala signing for Roma. When it comes to big names, it's always like this. It's a series of events. First, someone launches it. Then someone maybe confirms it. Then someone says the negotiations have started. So this is definitely the first stage. However, I want to drag your attention. Is this really a big name? Is Mauro Icardi, currently playing at Galatasaray, a big name for Roma's transfer market? And I don't know how to answer to this, because as I just said, I'm mixed when it comes to Mauro Icardi. I'm really mixed. Parts of me want him to join because I think he's a very clinical striker. He's a striker who bags the goals, and when seeking problems like us, which is basically not scoring goals, a player like Icardi is gonna score more than the current version of Tammy. That's confirmed. I can tell you right now that Icardi, even in his worst states, in his worst forms, would score more goals than in a bad form Tammy Abraham. However, everything else which links to Mauro Icardi is negative. There's not one other thing which you can say positive about Mauro Icardi. And in this live stream, we'll examine this. In this live stream, we're not here to speak about the deal, because this is something which has just been launched by the media. There is nothing we can talk about. There's nothing economically we can talk about. There's nothing financially we can talk about. There's nothing on the behalf of Icardi which we can talk about. All we know now is that Turkish media have launched something saying that Mourinho wants to bring Icardi at Roma, and that apparently Thiago Pinto will be ready to prepare an offer for Mauro Icardi in these next couple of weeks. Other than that, we don't know anything. And to be honest with you, it could be also that these things that this Turkish newspaper has launched are fake news. And when you speak about players and deals and things which aren't confirmed by big names, most probably it's not going to happen. But yet, this is a Roma fan channel, and this is something which has not been, you see, it hasn't been confirmed by big sources, but it hasn't even been denied. So I'm kind of getting an early stage Dybala move to Roma deja vu. But again, is this really a big name? And to be honest with you, I'm going to answer this in a bold way. If anyone thinks that buying Mauro Icardi would be to the same extent of buying Paulo Dybala last summer, and if you think buying Mauro Icardi is the meaning of us buying that big name, then sorry, but that's delusional. Because, in my opinion, he's not a big name. He's a really good striker, and I'm not hiding that. He's a really, really good striker. He's a very clinical striker. He scores the goals. He bags the goals. And when it comes to that side, and we look at that side, we really need a player like him because we don't score goals. Belotti is in his worst state of form. Tammy is in his worst state of form. Shomurodov, we can't rely on him. We need a striker. One thing which I will say before speaking about the negative factors of Icardi is that this is something which would happen in June. Icardi is actually living a really good moment at Galatasaray, and there is no part of me, there is no part of him which believes that he's going to leave in January for another club, leaving Galatasaray and the Turkish passion of football and all of that. If we buy Icardi, it's going to happen in June. Therefore, what does this mean? This means that this hypothetical Mauro Icardi situation is exponentially linked to Tammy Abraham's second half of the season. Yes, and I can basically confirm this. If we're interested in Mauro Icardi, it means that at the end of the season, if Tammy doesn't perform over the course of the second half of the season, we need more options. Because if Tammy doesn't perform towards the end of the season, towards this part after the World Cup, then he's going to get sold in June. Like that's almost confirmed. That's almost official. So that's definitely something which has to be mentioned. So I think this Icardi situation is very much linked to Tammy Abraham. Because if Tammy now in the second half of the season starts bagging the goals and returns into the Tammy Abraham of last season, then I genuinely think Tammy will stay. And then, yes, we would need to buy a second striker because Belotti like this is absolutely useless and it won't be Icardi. So this situation is very much linked to Tammy Abraham and the way Tammy Abraham will perform and develop in the second half of the season. But, I don't know. I want to kind of look at the other side of Icardi because, yes, he's a really good player. He bags the goals, very good clinical striker. But I'm also worried about the other side, the negative side, because part of me believes that Mauro Icardi is the best tool to get if we want to destroy our changing room. I believe that Icardi is the best player we could get to destroy your changing room. He's like a tool. He's like a hammer. You want to destroy a picture, you want to destroy a frame, grab a hammer and destroy it. You want to destroy a changing room and therefore have tensions with the manager, with the fans and everything. Get Icardi and he'll do it for you. Icardi's attitude is the biggest problem here. It's like, it's really appalling. Like, Icardi behaves like a deluded 3-year-old who doesn't get a candy when his mother offers it to him. And part of this, in fact, not part of this, 100% of this is due to the fact that it is due to the fact of love. And yes, part of this is due as a result of his wife, Banda Nara. She's a troublemaker. She is just the ultimate vengeance when it comes to Icardi's career. Icardi has had, over the course of his entire career, massive potentials. At Inter Milan, he was, for several years, the top scorer of the Serie A. We're speaking about a player whose career got destroyed by his wife. And yet, after so many attempts of trying to get away from this lady, they cannot get up. They try to break up, and after 2 weeks, Icardi is back with this lady. Icardi is like Dante and Beatrice in hell. Icardi and Vanda Nara are exactly that. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to turn this channel into Big Brother, but unfortunately it is the reality of Icardi's story. Until he does not fully, definitely break up with that lady, he's not going anywhere. And they tried many times. But yet, love took the best part of them. They're always back together. So, if I need to buy a player who is not even at his peak of his career, and I know as a matter of fact that if he comes, his wife will destroy the changing room of my team, then it's a big no for me. And don't get me wrong, I think we could get better strikers. We could get better players. Because it's not like Galatasaray will ask for a little amount of money. They're going to ask a substantial amount of money. And I don't know. I'm mixed about this. And I repeat, I don't know. I'm a bit mixed. I think he's good as a player. But it's just his attitude, which is linked to his wife, which worries me. Because, there's a famous phrase which goes, no, I can't remember what it directly says, but, I would rather not have a player than losing more than one player, if you see what I mean. Especially because Icardi, if he comes to Roma, would be the player as well, alongside Dybala, who's like at the center of everything. Because at PSG, he didn't have many problems, but look at the team PSG had. They had Mbappe, Messi, and what's his name? And Neymar. So obviously, the circle of attention is not on you. At Roma, if he comes, the center of attention would be on you and Dybala. And he, I don't know. I'm mixed. And I'll leave it here because I think, as people are saying in the chat, to be honest with you, I don't follow Galatasaray, and I've stopped following Icardi since he left Inter Milan. But his wife scares me, and people are saying he learned his lesson. His wife is not interfering with his football affairs anymore. Well, if that's the case, then it's better. But at the same time, I do still think we could get better players. We're speaking about a player who loves bagging goals and knows how to bag goals and knows the Serie really well. That is definitely another advantage when it comes to this. But I definitely think he's not at the peak of his career anymore. So we could buy better players and maybe younger players as well. And I think, again, it's just a rumor launched. I think any case, even if it's not a rumor, it would directly be linked to Tammy Abraham's second half of the season. Because yes, if Tammy doesn't perform, then we would need to find another striker. Because Tammy will leave in June if he doesn't perform, and all of that. So so you see my point. I think I've made it clear. I'm tired of Tammy too. The guy is childish and not up for high level. He's okay for conference, not more, says Amir Ba. Tammy's lackluster was hit distraction about the World Cup and good for him. He's not picked. I totally agree when it comes to that. No divas at Roma. He can stay there. Icardi is a good calm striker. His wife's tamed and calmer now. Yeah, so people are saying his striker is his wife. Sorry, has stopped being a lion, a fierce lion. But to conclude, I definitely think we can, and I think something which is very important for us, especially if Tammy doesn't perform. Obviously, we will need another striker, and next season we have to avoid making the mistakes which we made this season. And up to now, we're not scoring many goals, which means that if we sell Tammy, we have to pay a lot of concentration and attention on the player which we buy as a striker, because we have to stop not scoring goals. So I think more studies, more development can get into finding a better striker. Again, I'm not trying to downgrade Icardi. I think as a player, he's phenomenal. And the fact that he's been the Serie top scorer for several times is a proof of this. The thing with Icardi is his attitude. And especially with a manager like Mourinho, who we've seen a few days ago what happened with Korsdorp, I don't know how we'll tolerate Icardi really well. But again, it's a rumor launched. If there are any developments, I will be sure that I will update you on this quest. Maybe it's the first step of a development of a transfer signing. I do think it's going to happen in June if it happens not in January, but we'll see what happens. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please make sure to smash that subscribe button and smash the like button in this video. Please, 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 let's try and get 6,000 subscribers by the time the World Cup starts. I know, it's in like 2 days. We won't hit it. But please, if you can do me a favor, if you're watching this and if you haven't already subscribed, please smash that red button down below and share the link of this channel to your families and friends. I'm going to go and film World Cup predictions in a matter of seconds. World Cup predictions is going to come tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, during this period of time, we'll both vary between Roma content and international content, live watch-alongs when it comes to the World Cup, entertaining Roma content, and all of that. Because yes, we can speak about transfer, but at the end of the day, the transfer market hasn't even started. So I'll definitely keep you updated on anything that happens in the world of Roma. And yeah, subscribe, smash the like button, follow me on Instagram over there in the red box, and I will catch you tomorrow, and I'll go and film World Cup predictions. Who do you think will win? Who knows? Who do you think I think will win? You'll find out tomorrow. Simon